Kim. What a great pleasure to have this conversation with you. You are the owner of Thyme Real Estate CO. I don't know if I'm saying that properly. And also Kim Simpson Realty Group. And you have been in real estate for almost 20 years now. Can you tell us what led you to this career path in 2003?
Well, geez, I guess kind of unrealistically, I thought getting into real estate would be fun. And not that it's not, it is fun. But I did not realize really what I was really getting myself into at that point. But it's been quite a roller coaster. But I look back now and it's kind of been a whirlwind for me. So that was really what it interested me. And I think as a reason as to why many people get into real estate, it was interesting. But when you get into it, it still is interesting. It's just more than what we, I think, bargained for it, I guess I would say.
I guess sometimes it can be a little bit hard, especially you are dealing with different type of people that have different type of personalities as well.
Absolutely, 100%. Many, many people with different paths, with different backgrounds, and with many different personalities. Absolutely.
So, can you tell us about Time Real Estate CO and Kim Simpson Realty Group and the services each company provides?
Yes. So I started Thyme Real Estate a little over 5 years ago. It's a boutique brokerage, and I started it. I would say, first of all, I was with Remax for many years, which was a wonderful company. I have nothing negative to say. They were a wonderful company. But I didn't want to be lumped into a certain category as far as a franchise world. So I really started the boutique brokerage myself, just for my little team that I had at that time, just to be able to service the customers a little different, um, give them a little bit of more servicing and some one-on-one, and just a little bit more intimate service. But then the brokerage that I have, the agents that are under my brokerage currently, believe it or not, many of them were previous clients who got into the real estate world and asked to join me. So that was good. That was very, that made me feel, honorable that they would reach out to me in that respect. And a couple of the other agents were with another brokerage and that we had worked together with on transactions, and just felt that they wanted to be with a company that was a little bit more intimate as well. So
Oh,
I have a handful of agents under me that are not part of my team, that are just, really ethical, morally sound people that I like to work with, and that I'm honored to have as part of my brokerage as well.
wow, that is awesome. You created all that and given other people opportunity to be a part of something that's great. That's actually, I was reading your bio, also about us page on your website, just the way you explain everything. I can feel the passion. It's like I can put myself being with you and you know, helping me picking the dream home. That's what America is all about, the dream home. We're supposed to have
Yes.
that dream home that we love. And
Yes.
it just feels good to meet other people that actually care about the work and what they are doing. And
Thank you.
that's my feeling from you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
So when you said Time Real Estate CO and Kim Simpson Realty Group, what's the difference between the two?
So Thyme Real Estate is the company, it's the brokerage that I own. And then under the brokerage, I have agents that are independent contractors. And then I have my own little team that is in the Kim Simpson Realty Group. So it's a buyer's agent and it's an administrator, as well as she does a buyer's agent too. So they work primarily with buyers that are looking for homes. Thyme Real Estate is the company that owns Kim Simpson Realty Group, and it's also the brokerage that the other agents that are independent contractors are under.
Got it. So you had a bad auto accident a long time ago that's knocked you down, and then you could have lost everything you work hard for because you work really hard to grow your business. How did you find the strength, I mean, like, to just keep on going even with all the things that was happening in your life?
Yeah, so it was really give or take. It was a really bad time, unfortunate bad time for me physically, bad time for the economy. It just wasn't going in the direction that I had worked for and that I wanted to, and things were tough financially. So Really, I just kind of gave it my all and did what I could do and educated myself and listened and learned a lot about the market, about the needs of the buyers and the sellers at that time, and more. It was the sellers that were really going through a tough time financially because they were losing a lot too as well. So it was just really dig deep and help them the best that I can so that they could lose less than what they were thought that they may lose, and just really educated myself on the market, the ups and downs, and the history of real estate in respect where there has been a lot of ups and downs in the real estate market, and just to be able to be there and support them. It wasn't the best to get them through those trying times, but they were able to get through them. So, as a matter of fact, just within the last couple of days, a seller that I had helped at that time who was struggling lost their home through a short sale. I got them through. I explained to them losing your home through a short sale is a lot less hard on you financially than it is to go for foreclosure. So let's get your home through the short sale process. Your bank will be a little bit more forgiving, and it's less risky on your credit. Just a few days ago, those people have called me. They've gotten through their hard times financially. They sold their home during that time, and now they're in a financial position where they're ready to buy again. So that's kind of good. I feel honored that they reached back out to me after 5 years. They've gotten themselves above water again, and they're in a good financial position now where they can buy again.
Wow, that's awesome. So, a quick question for you. I think you kind of explained it a little bit, but what is the difference between when you go into for foreclosures compared to you doing a short sale?
So, with the foreclosure, when you lose your home through foreclosure, that debt stays on you forever, basically for about 7 years. The bank can sell your
Uh-huh.
home, resell it at foreclosure, but they can still come after you for the remaining debt. When you sell a home for foreclosure, short sale, I'm sorry, we work very hard to get the bank to accept the amount that is less that you owe on the mortgage. On top of that, we work very hard to get them to forgive you of the remaining debt. So if you have a home that's 500,000 and it goes through foreclosure and the bank sells it at a sheriff sale for say 200, that remaining 300 can stick with you as the owner until it could stay a lien on you, and until that's paid you may not be able to buy another home. If you go through the short sale process and you sell the home for 200,000 and you owed 500, we work very hard to get the bank to forgive you of that additional 300, so in 4 and 5 years you can be own another home again. The debt doesn't stay with you.
Do you have situation where the bank say no with the
I have
sale?
not encountered that, I personally, through my clients that I've helped, but it can happen. Yes, most definitely. But the owner can also reject and not do the short sale if the bank does not give them that. And mostly the bank wants you to sell it. They don't want to take on that responsibility of owning that home and risking losing it even for less. So the majority of the time they do end up taking it and forgiving you of the remaining debt.
Wow. So, with everything that just happened with COVID-19, unfortunately, so do you think right now is a good time to buy or a good time to sell? How's the process right now is happening?
So, depending on the price range in certain markets, we are seeing a little bit of a shift, a little bit of a leveling out, I would say, depending on where you're at in the location. We are still seeing some multiple offers and some homes that are still going up in price based on the buyer's bidding. Depending on the price, I'm seeing, I think, a little bit of a turn with maybe homes that are in the 55 community because those particular buyers would be using cash for their home and they're at an age where they're retirement. And so if they've lost in the stock market, it's a little risk for them to buy right now. So they're not necessarily buying their retirement home, unfortunately. So we do see that kind of affecting them a little bit. Waterfront properties, we're not seeing that be affected too much by this shift of a market. It's really, I'm going to say, the market that's probably 350 and under, your first time home buyer. They're a little bit more nervous about what's happening in the economy and the interest rate and things like that.
Wow. So, What do you think about the interest rate? Because I was reading the interest rate go
I'm
up.
not crazy about it, that's for sure. And definitely, certainly, it's going to affect especially our first time home buyers. But I'm hoping that was the last increase that they're going to make. That's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing that was the last increase, but unfortunately, we'll see. They're going to meet again in July. So we'll see. But I'm hoping that that was the last increase for the year. I definitely think it slowed things down. Depending on the price range, it definitely we're seeing a little bit of a slow.
Will that going to hurt the buyer or the seller or both of them?
Um, I only think that it's going to hurt the seller in the respect where we won't have as many multiple offers on a property. I still think that it's going to help them. They may have to be a little bit more negotiable. I do think it will help buyers where they're not necessarily having to waive their home inspections now. They can actually get those and maybe get a little bit of a settlement help depending on the price range, if that's the lower end. As far as the higher end, the interest rate's not affecting that certain $1 million or higher buyer. A lot of them end up paying cash. Will they be a little bit more negotiable on their price? Perhaps. They're smart with their money. That's why they are where they are. So they're not going to just buy. They're still going to want to negotiate, and they always have negotiated anyway. So, um, your mill and dyer waterfront property, they're not gonna affect them as much.
Wow. So would you advise someone if they're buying a home, would you advise them to put the minimum down or go with the higher more? Because I was talking to someone that's kind of said that it's better to put less down and then putting more, and also don't pay it before time. Go through your entire loan of 30 years. Would you advise for someone to do that, or pay it upfront and be done with it, and then or even putting a higher deposit just to make sure that.
So I really always have the philosophy as less debt as possible, because you
Definitely.
never know what life can bring you. But when the interest rates were 2.5, 3, 4, even 4%, we did see a lot of buyers, even if they could pay cash for the home, they would get somewhat of a mortgage because they were able to invest their difference into the stock market and grow it. So it really depends on where you are financially. If you are a first time home buyer, um, and the interest rates are 6%, yeah, I'm going to suggest put a little bit more money down. If if you want to take the cash out of your investments right now and put them into real estate, I think that's better now than to get a mortgage. So it really depends on where you are financially. And are you buying a second home, or is this your home that you're going to live in forever? A lot of that depends on that. Um, I think right now the interest rates are 6%. The stock market is, wishy washy a little bit. I think it's always going to be like that. It's stable, it goes up and down, just like the real estate market. Not to be fearful of that, but we really have to play it by ear. What kind of interest rate you can get? Is it better to put a lot of money down? I'm not a advocate of paying PMI. I don't like that. I think that's a waste of money. So I would say at least put money down to avoid that. Is would be my suggestion.
Absolutely. And that is something that you actually guide your client to make sure that they get the best deal instead of, them losing money later on.
Right, right. I work with a lot of loan officers that are also, even though that's the business that they're also not in the business to have the buyer be in debt, and they wanted them to. It's not going to be in anyone's best interest if they're not financially able to pay for this property. So putting more money down will help you less risk if you have to go sell and the market's not the best. At least you won't be upside down in the home.
Absolutely. So right now you are only licensed in your state, right? So you can't go outside of your state.
I'm licensed in Delaware and Maryland.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And
It's
I
a
have two
beautiful place.
brokerages, one in Delaware and one in Maryland. Yes.
This is awesome. I'm so proud to be talking to you. So, what is the source of your inspiration to keep you moving forward when the market crash? Like, there's nothing to do. You're like stuck.
Well, I had little ones at home. So, it was as much as real estate was hard, at least I could be flexible with my schedule and still be able to be home with them and not put them in daycare and things like that. So that was really what it was. And I had a daughter, I had children, we had children planning for college and things like that. So we had to keep going.
would you say that? Well, I guess would you have any? Because when I was reading your on your website, you seem to have a lot of great experience with a lot of great people that you help. Can you share one with us? Because it was so fascinating to actually read them myself.
Yes, definitely. So my best friend Lisa, she was worked with me at the time, and when I had my car accident, she was just amazing. She was like a bulldozer. She just stepped right in. I couldn't drive. She drove me around. There was just a lot of things. She's a licensed realtor too at that time. And now she's part of my team, and she's been part of my team probably, I'm going to say, a good 8 or 9 years. So she's the right hand here. She works primarily with the buyers. Through Maryland and Delaware too as well. And she's just really, she's a go-getter. And my other buyer's agent slash administrator is my daughter. So she graduated from college in 2006, business management. It wasn't a great time for her to get a job. A bank was going to pay her $12 an hour. And I was just like, that's just unbelievable. I could use you. I was really busy. And even though the market was kind of going down, I was still really busy, is when it really kind of started to be my best year in real estate. And I sent her to real estate school. And so she's been with me ever since.
Wow, now I understand the team behind it.
Right, exactly. I actually
So,
call her my personal manager, keeping my life straight.
oh, I love that. Oh, so how can a woman get into real estate world? And is there a point of doing something? Is there like a gap between it, between the gender or anything like that? So how can more women get into it?
Yeah, I don't think there's a gap in gender. Matter of fact, there are a lot of women into real estate because it is a very flexible career. If you wanted to be home with your children, you can. And I think it's very beneficial to have a supportive partner if you're not a single mom, or just a single. It's very, if you have children at home, because you're going to be evenings and weekends when you first start out. It's going to be a lot of evenings and weekends. If you're a single mom and you just going to need some to support you for your little ones around. When COVID happened, I saw a lot more women, bringing their children with them, and they couldn't be in school and they couldn't be in daycares and things like that. So I think society has become a little bit more acceptable of that. And real estate is about relationships, and you're sharing your family with them. You're building a bond. And so I think a lot of people are open to that. And if you're young, or even if you're not young, if you're old, if you're middle, if you're whatever, a lot of people get into real estate because they're retired and they want to do something different, which is fine. A lot of graduate from college and go right into real estate. They have that entrepreneurial spirit. It is a great career for all levels. It really is.
Would you say that it's better to start your own from the beginning or start working with a firm like yours so that you gain the experience and then be able to go on your own if you want to later on?
Well, when you become a realtor, the law is you must affiliate with a brokerage. You're not going to be able to be your own broker right from the beginning. You have to have so many years experience. I think it's 5 years depending on the state that you're in, and you have to have so many transactions, and then you have to go to school to be a broker. So right out the window, you could only be a realtor from the beginning. You have to have a little bit under your belt in order to become a brokerage. I think it's very beneficial to join a brokerage like mine, a boutique. You get a lot of one-on-one and more hands-on, and you get me. I'm not passing you off to someone else. I'm there to answer your questions. I get text and phone calls from my agents all the time, walking them through situations and transactions. And it's you get one-on-one. You're gonna get me when you have a problem.
And that's pretty much what we need in this world, that the support that we need, because sometimes we just need it, believe it or
Yes.
not. We might think we got it going on, but at the end, we don't have it going
Right,
on. We're like,
right, right, right. And I think a lot of people don't realize, a lot of times in the real estate world, you are on the defense where you're always trying to look out and protect your customer, whether it's a buyer or a seller. And there are a lot of things that can go wrong, not to try to be negative in any way, but there's a lot of things that can go wrong that a lot of people do not understand. And it's very important to have a realtor, and it's very important to have someone that's going to be side by side and walk you through the whole transaction. Me as a broker for my agents, and as well as me for my customers.
I completely agree with that.
When
But
nothing goes wrong, it's wonderful.
but Kim, I'm curious to know: can a company be just for the buyer and not for the seller, or the other way around?
I've not experienced that in any brokerages. It would be tough for a brokerage to do that. They actually have the choice. They can do that if they want to. But I think that would be very not financially beneficial for them, because the market goes up and down. And there are times when it's a lot of sellers and hardly any buyers. And there's a lot of times where there's a lot of buyers and not that many sellers. So you need to have really a happy medium in there. But you can now, my buyer's agents, they do primarily work with buyers. That's it. But I've assigned that to them. But that's not the brokerage as the whole. That's just those agents. And a lot of agents that are on a team, the team leader will assign one particular realtor to work the listings and one particular agent to work the buyers.
Got it. So your commitment to helping those in the community led you to start something super cool, Times Heart. Can you tell
Yes.
us more about it?
So it's a fund that I started to help people that live in a shelter or are in a shelter temporarily. Um, they're in shelters for many, many reasons. You know, some of them are abuse, some of them are hiding. This might get me a little teary eyed.
It's okay.
Some are hiding, from abuseful situation. Some just house got flooded and needed some place to go. Some of them, they're not necessarily, most of them probably are not going to be able to buy a home, at least not for a very, very long time. So that's not the intent at all. The intent is to give them a lift, to help them if they need to get their utilities on, if they need groceries for this month, if they need their deposit to get into a rental, those things to help them. So that's it's not something that's grandiose. Also, every transaction I get, we through the whole brokerage, I mail the check to the shelter. They tell me the stories. It's just heartbreaking and unbelievable, but it's very gratifying that we can help. And it's a small gesture that we do right now, and I hope that it gets to be larger. But I always have said, when I get to a certain point, well, I'll do this, and when I get to a certain point, and I'll do this. And you find yourself never really getting to that certain point, and so you just start small and you just do it. And what a blessing it's been. It really has been a blessing.
All I have to say is thank you. When I was reading that, and I was like, this is a woman I want to have in my circle every day, every moment for the rest of my life,
Thank
because
you.
we need to do that. We need to help, and I understand where you're coming from, because I seen people in shelters, I seen people in the street, I seen people with COVID-19 that was sleeping under Walgreens. I was one time I was picking up my medication in Walgreens, and I see the guy was laying there. Seriously, I thought the guy was dying. I called 911, said that I think this guy is dead, and when they come, he wasn't dead. He's just been sleeping there because he has no other place to go. The best I could do myself is go to the McDonald's next door and get him something to eat, and give him a blanket. But
Right.
there's a lot more we can do.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And just start small, because you don't understand. And when I sent the first check and the representative that handles that department gave me a call, naively, I assumed many people gave donations to them. I just assumed that. And the way that they acted like it was the check that they had only gotten. I mean, I know they do get more, but that's how gratifying, and that's how relieved, and that's how happy they were when they received it. So that just was a step up and said, this is definitely, I need to keep going on this.
Absolutely. Thank you for doing that. It's appreciated. So I am wondering, why time? Do you have a meaning behind the name?
Everybody always thinks it's a wonderful story, but it's not.
I want to hear.
It's not. So, and I have to give a lot of credit to my daughter. So I was just doing some research trying to figure out what to name a real estate company. And I was just doing a little bit research, and they said that something that has to do with nature really sticks in someone's mind. So we're going down the list of trees, flowers. Then we start getting to the herbs. And my daughter says thyme. And I was like, that's it. Yeah. because look at all the things we could go. Time's heart. It's time to buy real estate. There's so many slogans and ideas and if you look into what the benefits of time really are on the health aspect, they help build your immune system. It helps you with your sore throat. It helps you with your colds. It helps you with inflammatory. And I feel we're very helpful too. We're helpful with your heart because we are trying to get you to this home or sell your home as less stressful as can be. And obviously, less stress is good for your heart.
Yes.
So I just feel it's a strong herb. It's hearty. And I feel that so are we.
I love the reason. I'm like, there have to be a reason behind it. I have to ask.
I wish it was a more glorious story, but it's not, unfortunately.
But it is the meaning behind it, and you're absolutely right. Because when I was young, my mom used to always, if I have like a cold, she will boil that and let me drink it just like that by itself.
Yeah.
And seriously,
Yeah.
I will take a nap and I feel better already.
Good. That's great.
So now that you accomplish all of these things, you're giving back to your community, you are opening a space for other people to come and work peacefully. So what's next for you in the business?
So right now, I'm still trying to build. It's still a process. I'm still building, trying to get to a certain point. I like to bring a few more agents onto the brokerage, and get to a point where I can get the business either sellable or have someone else run it and do a little bit more retirement. So that's kind of where I'm at. 5 or 6, 7 more years at it at this level, maybe in building, and then maybe I'd like to do a little bit retirement. It would be wonderful if my daughter would take it over.
I hope so
That would be great, but we'll see how that goes.
And is there any message or advice that you wish to give to women out there?
You know what? Don't be afraid of mistakes. Try it. It's a simple little slogan, but you're never going to know if you don't try it. And don't be fearful of not trying. You just need to try.
Absolutely. Anything else you'd like to share with us before I let you go?
No, it's just been a really wonderful experience. I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you guys. And, real estate can be a roller coaster, and I'm here for the ride. So,
And I do hope your daughter take the company over because that would be very awesome.
me too. I need to get her into position. She's got 3 little ones, so she's a little busy, but I want her to go to broker school so she can at least get the broker's license and she could be ready. Yeah.
I believe she will. I
Good.
believe she will.
Good.
She's your
Good.
daughter after all.
Yes, this is true.
Thank you so much, Kim, for giving me that opportunity to have this interview with you and to get to know you a little bit and also to share your story with everyone else. It's great to share each other's stories because there's women out there that feel like they are alone, but in reality, they are not. They just need to hear it from other people.
Right. Thank you very much. I really appreciate the opportunity to share the story.